A new kid on the political bloc that's set to enter the arena. Rise Mzansi says they are all about working together to shape a South Africa that is representative of a very communities and people-based that makes it the most amazing country in the world. Let's discuss this further now with Vuyiswa Ramokgopa. She's the chairperson of Rise Mzansi. Vuyiswa, thank you very much for your time here on eNCA. So, yet another political party. Tell us more about Rise Mzansi. Is it something that will feature more young people? We've got a lot of old people in Parliament at the moment.
Thank you for having me on the show, and thank you to all the viewers who are watching today. I think it's important to make a distinction that Rise Mzansi, while it will also be a political party and contest elections, is more importantly a political movement, a movement that seeks to mobilize all South Africans from all walks of life, including young people, and reinvigorate people around the power and the importance of politics. Unfortunately, for too long, people have lost faith in the power of politics to fundamentally change their reality and shape their existence. But we cannot walk away from politics. We cannot pretend that politics and political decisions don't affect us on a daily basis. So the work of Rise Mzansi exists to contest elections, but on an ongoing basis to mobilize society to start driving solutions in their communities, to hold political leaders accountable on an ongoing basis, and to serve and build in their communities. And an integral part of that is around leadership. Leaders in society and in politics should be coming from the people and should be elected by the people. So Rise Mzansi also aims to be a platform that returns power back to the people by creating an environment where ordinary citizens can have their voices heard and be represented within a movement that speaks to their aspirations.
So I want to give you an opportunity to tell the viewers, South Africans, who is Vuyiswa Ramokgopa? Where does she come out from? Why should they trust to put an X on the ballot paper next to Rise Mzansi next year?
Rise Mzansi is our movement, as in us, the citizens of this country. It is not Vuyiswa Ramokgopa's movement. It is not Songezo Zibi's movement. And that's another very important cultural thing we have to get out of as a country. Personality politics, the politics of the big Superman character hero. You know, a lot of people say, hey, Rise Mzansi, who's there? And of course, leaders and the credibility of leaders is important. But what's more important is the quality of people that exist and the leaders that exist in all spheres and aspects of society. I myself come from what would be termed the business community. I am a leader in the business community. But there are leaders who come out of civil society, who come out of the religious space, who come out of academia, who come out of youth and youth movements. And we should be able, as a society, to harness the best leaders from all quarters of society, not just people who are party loyalists or people who are party members. So Rise is very intentional about saying we are beginning a journey to go out into communities, to go out into South Africa and unearth the best leaders that exist in society. And my role and the role of the other people that are currently part of this movement is to go out and find those people and convince them that this is indeed a platform where they can find expression and where they can finally raise their hands and they themselves can rise and lead this country.
What are your thoughts as Rise Mzansi around the signing into law yesterday by President Cyril Ramaphosa of the Electoral Amendment Bill? It's something that, for instance, Rivonia Circle, which was Mr. Zibi was part of, just did not think that was a good idea. There were thoughts that it would put elections into jeopardy, and this would be your first time contesting the elections with this bill probably into law. What do you think about that?
So, I mean, I think there's two sides of it, and perhaps let me start on our side. Rise Mzansi, of course, is a political party. So in saying that, we are not independent candidates as defined by the Electoral Act. But as it pertains to independent candidates, we think it is unfortunate that the bill that has been signed into law, despite the cries and the rejection from civil society, and that we think it's unfortunate that the president has gone ahead, ignored actually the vast inputs that have come out of civil society, and has essentially signed an act that does not actually capture the true intentions of the Constitutional Court judgment that brought this process into effect. And in fact, all it seeks to do is further actually increase the barriers to entry for independent candidates and entrench the role and the dominance of political parties, which we think is fundamentally counter to the spirit of democracy. You know, more than anything, democracy is about giving voice and expression to the people. And again, you see, that's really where we come from and where we step in as Rise Mzansi, is saying the people have spoken. They have requested, you know, in the absence of any other form of political accountability, the citizens have said, let us then elect our own candidates. And because, of course, the political establishment, and I will say this speaks to all existing political formations in Parliament who have allowed this to happen, you know, unfortunately, this threatens the status quo. Because the reality is that, you know, if citizens are genuinely given the opportunity and the choice to exercise their rights, the likelihood is that many of these existing parties will cease to exist. So it's unfortunate, and but it's very indicative of what our politics has become about. It's become about entrenching political interests, vying for political power, ignoring and excluding the citizens, and you know, ultimately absolving or disregarding the requirement for political accountability. We need to go back to that as a country. We need to return the power to the people, and I believe that you know, unfortunately, the current Electoral Act doesn't do that.
Yeah. So, Vuyiswa, in terms of what you've been seeing with coalition parties or coalition governments on a municipal level, a lot of experts have been saying that the trajectory for South Africa is that we might see that on a national level. And it might be too early to ask you this question as a new political party, but would you consider getting into a coalition government? And what would make you agree so that you don't see the type of mess that we've been seeing in so many of very vital municipalities?
So let me begin by saying Rise Mzansi has zero intention of being an opposition party.
Okay.
Rise Mzansi is the government of the future. We intend to govern this country. We intend to go out and do the work of securing a mandate from the broad majority of South Africans, something that unfortunately many of these opposition parties are just unwilling or unable to do. So we believe that for the spirit of democracy to reign supreme, unfortunately or fortunately, those who seek to lead must do the work of actually going out there and securing the mandate of the people. And that is the work that we're going to do. And whether we receive that mandate in its entirety in 2024, which I believe we will, but even if we don't, we will keep doing the work on the ground of serving our people until the very next elections, when we will certainly secure that mandate if it doesn't happen. But so my point here is in saying that the current coalition kind of culture we've seen the mess that it has yielded in local government and in local municipalities. It would be disastrous if we had that type of situation unfolding at a national level. And what is so evident, and this is again an issue that we've addressed, is that one, the problem with coalitions is that it's political parties talking to themselves,
deciding for the electorate,
bartering deals, horse trading for power amongst themselves, for positions and for influence of certain portfolios. It has ceased to be about common values and about delivery of service and about servant leadership to the people. So unfortunately, the spirit, again, of democracy has been subverted. You know, coalitions were there to ensure that everybody and every constituency got a voice. But when 60% plus of the population is not voting because they are unsatisfied with the options on the table, what form of democracy is that? So we are hoping, and we are going out to the public to solicit solutions from the public to say, let us co-create the next era of our democracy. Rise Mzansi will be a platform that can do that with you as the citizens of the country. Not for you, not on behalf of you, with you. We want to co-govern with the citizens of this country, and we intend to do so in 2024.
Vuyiswa, thank you very much. What you just said about political parties bartering amongst themselves, horse trading, whatever, it goes back to the electoral bill, doesn't it? That's where the problem really starts, where people are voting for a party and not a person, where we're told that a province is a constituency.
Exactly.
But thank you very much for speaking to us here on eNCA, and good luck for next year.
Thank you.
That was Vuyiswa Ramokgopa. She is the chairperson of a new political party called Rise Mzansi.